there's one thing I love on a picnic, it's fried chicken. I have a really great recipe for you. I'm using that chicken that I cut up yesterday. I'm gonna make fried chicken with it today. It's very nostalgic for me. When I was young, I always asked my mom to make me fried chicken for my birthday. It's one of my favorite things. First, you start with making a dredging mixture out of 1 1/4 cups of flour. Don't worry about being too exact with measuring here. It's not that important to scoop and level the way we usually do. And then 2/3 of a cup of cornstarch. The cornstarch really helps with the crispiness factor. Wait till you see. Very messy though, it's just like 100 times messier than regular flour. I don't know why. I guess it's because it's much finer. 2 teaspoons of coarse salt. Pepper, don't forget pepper. 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And then whisk that together. Then what you want to do is set some of this aside. You're going to dredge this chicken twice. That's one of our tricks. We dredge it first, then soak it in buttermilk, and then dredge it again. So you want to set aside 1 1/4 cups for your later dredging. So that's that. Now what you want to do, you're going to marinate your chicken in this bowl in buttermilk, 1 whole quart. You want to make sure that your chicken is completely covered. That's why we use a whole quart. 2 tablespoons of salt. Don't worry, all that salt's not going to go into your chicken because most of this is going to be discarded. You're basically making a buttermilk brine here. And then some pepper. Season it every step of the way. I say that a lot and I mean it. You just want to make sure that you're building flavor all the way throughout. Now for the fun part. I'm going to use tongs so I don't have to touch it. Take your chicken, so you dredge each piece very lightly in flour. This is going to help that buttermilk kind of stick to the chicken, and then when you put the final coating on, it's like a nice thick crust that really adheres to the chicken when it cooks and doesn't fall off. Once all of this is done, put this aside for 3 hours in the refrigerator, just for the flavors to really meld and for it to get all delicious. Chicken gets a little bit tenderized from the buttermilk, you know. Cover it up, straight to the fridge. You could actually leave it overnight if you wanted to also. Okay. But at least 3 hours. All right. Now for the fun part. Have your marinated chicken. This is that flour mixture that I saved from before. Put that onto a nice wide plate for dredging. Take a baking sheet, line it with a cooling rack. You're gonna put your dredged chicken onto this rack. Take it out of the buttermilk, let the excess liquid drip off, and then transfer it directly to the flour mixture for dredging. This is your second dredging, remember? Extra dredging means extra crunch. I'm using tongs. I like to use them as an extension of my hand. Your fingers will get really coated in goo if you do this with your fingers, I guarantee it. Make sure that every side is nicely coated. Just lift it up, shake it off. Just shake the excess off and put it onto that cooling rack. Don't leave too much flour on though. That'll just fall into the bottom of your pan and burn and be black and gross and you won't be happy, and then it'll stick to your fried chicken, and then you'll write me letters and you'll say, Sarah, why are there little brown bits all over my fried chicken? And it'll be because I didn't tell you to shake off the excess. Shake off the excess. A little bit clumpy isn't so bad when it comes to fried chicken because all those little clumps are gonna turn into crunch. Clumps equals crunch. Once it's all double dredged, it's ready to fry. So I have about 3 cups of oil heating in a cast iron skillet back on my stove. I have it on a medium heat so that it heats up slowly. If you heat it too fast, it could spike up to 400, and I want it to go to 350, but at a nice, even, slow pace. Okay, time to fry it. So, what you want to do is, remember I was talking about the oil before? You want to make sure it's at 350 degrees. This is at 340. I've been heating it on medium. I'm just going to turn it up a tiny bit. Here's a way to check. If you want to know a way to check and you don't have a thermometer like this, take a piece of bread, drop it into the pan, and when you drop it into the pan, it should take less than a minute to turn nice and golden brown. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, and look, golden brown, delicious, makes great croutons. I love it. All right, it's 350. Now that it's at 350, when you add your chicken, skin side down. I feel like it works the best that way. The temperature's gonna go down a lot, and you're gonna wanna moderate the temperature so that it stays around 350. The oil should come up about halfway up the sides of the chicken. It doesn't have to completely cover it. You're not deep frying here. If your pan can't fit all your chicken, you're gonna have to cook in batches, or you can use 2 pans if you have them. It takes about 8 minutes per side to cook it. Look at the temperature every once in a while and moderate it by turning it up or turning it down as you need to. Because if the temperature gets too hot, it's really bad. But if the temperature gets too low, it's actually kind of bad too, because then it absorbs all the fat. The great thing about the proper cooking temperature is that it crisps up quickly, doesn't absorb a lot of fat, and it cooks through. And you'll notice at the end, that almost all the oil that I put in here, which was about 3 cups, is gonna be left in the pan. Hardly any of it absorbs into the chicken. Maybe a couple more minutes. Not ready. I have a tray lined with a cooling rack, and then I just put a little bit of paper towel over it. I like to have the rack under the paper towel so that any grease that comes out of the chicken when it's draining goes into the bottom of the pan instead of the chicken sitting right in there. Still a little light. I'm not being patient. I'm gonna turn the heat up just a tiny bit because it's gone below 320 and I don't really want it below 320. All right, these guys are ready to turn. Oh, they're so pretty. If you have the right temperature, they're gonna be golden brown and gorgeous and not burnt looking at all. 8 more minutes and we're done. Just take it out. I like to drain it, put it down, and then just roll it over once just so that all sides get contact with the paper towel. And then just add the rest of your chicken. Make sure between batches that it comes back to 350 before you add your second batch. That way, every batch is cooked as perfectly as the first. I don't fry that much at home, but I do it occasionally, and it's such a great treat. Nice and golden on the bottom, golden on the top. Instant read thermometer is the best way to really tell if your chicken is done. It should be about 160 for white meat, 165 for dark meat. If you timed it well and you behaved yourself, you're gonna have the most delicious, crunchy, golden fried chicken you ever made. Perfect for taking on a picnic because it's gonna hold that crunch and be delicious. Right when it comes out of the fryer, a little bit of salt will stick the best. If you wait too long, when it cools off, it doesn't stick as well. Oh my gosh. I literally cannot wait to eat this. Crunchy and delicious. I guarantee it's gonna be the best fried chicken you ever made. All right, I can't guarantee it. I really hope that it will be. It's one of my favorite recipes. I think you should give it a try. Pack it up for your next picnic and enjoy.